Good Up is our space to talk about those experiences in life we didn't know we all had in common. We're the after work happy hour conversation with your best friend.
You good up bad, like, hello.
The place where you bring up the hard parts of life, the ones that made you laugh, and the things that made you who you are. Because who said becoming good up wasn't a little bit uncomfortable? Stay tuned for more information about this week's episode. Hey, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Good Up podcast. Y'all, I am so excited to be back. It feels like, I don't know, I know we recorded last week, but every time I go in between recordings, I sit throughout the week and wait just to get back in front of the mic and talk shit with D-Dragon. It's the best part of my week, so I'm excited to be back. Thank you guys always, of course, for supporting last week's episode. It seems like you guys really liked it, and I appreciate that because it'll take a long time to edit. So yeah, Deidre is here. Deidre, hey, if you are in the Good Up VIP community,
you can
see
VIP
Deidre,
section.
well, with a face beat, with a headband, with an air. Deidre is looking very cute today.
It's giving femininity life coach.
It is. You look very, you know what? You look very, she's in tune with her divine feminine. You do look very much
this
like that.
This is the femininity starter pack.
The headband wig, the earrings.
Yes. Minimal makeup.
Yeah.
My skin but bad. All the shit that the feminine queens stand. That I myself stand, because I'm such a basic bitch.
You love to see it.
Yes, Orchid sitting pretty.
Right.
And my Orchid is
the little cute art in the background.
Yes, just kidding.
Meanwhile, I get what side it is. My mother-in-law, my father-in-law behind me, so I can't talk shit about my husband because they're literally in the picture. But okay, so last week, and usually every week, Deidre and I have a specific topic that we want to cover based on shit that we see in society, all of that good stuff. Tonight, and this was actually inspired by one of my very, very close friends, I want to play a game with Deidre called We're Not Really Strangers. It is a card game. And the premise of the game is, like it says, bitch, we're not really strangers. So the whole premise of the game is that you get to know the people that you're playing the game with on a deeper level, right? Okay. So there are 3 levels to the game. The first level is kind of introductory, funny, icebreaker questions. The second level of the game is getting a little deeper. And then the third level of the game has questions that are supposedly made to allow you to gain that deeper understanding of the person, right? So Deidre and I have the questions. We are going to take turn asking each other questions, and then we're going to go up based on level. But through this, right? So we're going to experiment with this and see. Because Deidre and I have been doing this podcast now. By the way, Deidre, I think it was 2-year. 2-year anniversary with a podcast was yesterday.
What? Oh my gosh.
So
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, girl. Thank you for being here. Because y'all know I don't go through my Facebook memories every week and delete them because I refuse to continue.
Them things so embarrassing. You haven't, oh my God.
I don't know what the fuck 2009 hairs I was talking about, but that I don't know her.
2009
she and I are not on the same page.
Using a 3 for an E had me in a chokehold in 2009.
Listen, 2009 Hey Isa was subliminally posting Facebook statuses about some bitch, and I can't tell you to this day who the fuck I was talking about, okay?
Yeah, I was
and the
so
funny part is, I don't know if
2009.
it was a guy, I don't know if it was a girl, I just know I had them bad, and I was subliminally talking about him on Facebook. Could not tell you who the fuck that was. Anyway,
that dude I had love in high school had me in a fucking chokehold.
Listen.
I was so heartbroken and in love at the same time.
But you know what that is though? Growth. Okay? That's growth. So anyway, I was looking through my Facebook memories and I saw those posts that we made when you came onto the podcast and I announced it and you announced it and you were like, I'm so excited. We didn't even have the first logo with our little floating heads. That wasn't even created yet. It was my old logo with just me on it, which Anyway, but it was so cute. I was like, oh, Deidre's been here for you've been with the
It's
podcast
been two
longer
years
than the
already.
podcast has been without you, essentially. So
Oh, so it's like I'm a fixture. Like
yeah,
this podcast is
girl, you were
it's
a fixture
us.
on day one. I was like, yeah, me doing this fuck all, Deidre. But, but in the 2 years that we've done this podcast together, we've gotten to know a lot about each other because we come on here and we share our personal experiences and we talk
Yeah.
all our business, mostly me.
Yeah,
Um,
mostly you. But I'm
you
getting
know.
there. I'm getting there.
So so the truth is that there might be more layers of things. There's always going to be more layers of shit that we can possibly learn about each other. So I think this game going to be fun. And then listeners, if you're listening, this is unpaid promo for this game, and
Facts.
if you like it, maybe you might want to go buy it so that you can have fun activities with your partners and with your friends. I've played this game with my husband, I've played this game with my best friend, and it actually is very, very interesting. So all right, Deidre, do you want to go first? I gonna let you go first. Do the honors.
Okay.
We are
So
on
so
level one.
okay, let me make sure I'm looking at the. So I pretty much ask you a question, you answer it, and then I also have to answer it.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you
Okay,
have to
this is
choose,
cute.
right?
As a child, what do you think I wanted to be?
It's something along the lines of what you do now, though. Like, I can't pinpoint, I can't say, oh, Deidre, I wanted to be a teacher or anything, but I know you wanted to be like on your homemaker shit.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted to be somebody who was like healing and helping. Was it a doctor? Did you want to be a
I
doctor?
ironically enough, the only job that I can remember actually wanting as a child was teacher, believe it or not.
A teacher? You see?
When I was little, for some reason. So the thing is the homemaker thing was also something that I just saw myself being. Like as a child, I had a very clear image of what my life would look like. And that looked like me having a beautiful home where I cooked delicious food all the time. And me and my beautiful family sat and wore formal attire for dinner at least once a week. And I was a teacher.
Yeah. I knew
And I
you
was
had like
little.
I knew you had like the white picket fence, like
Yes.
real cute. Deidre in her nice little dress. She just baked an apple pie for her family. Like
Yes.
her fucking kids are running all over. Like
And the kid,
yeah.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
that whole vision for myself as a child. Like, and I remember it's funny because I remember wanting to be a teacher, and I remember it was like career day. And when I said I wanted to be a teacher, none of the adults were impressed by that. And they would always tell me, teachers don't make a lot of money. You should choose something else. And so I tried to choose something else, and I could never really think about what that something else would be. And my vision for myself was always just kind of all over the place. And then I remember being like, you know what? I actually want to be whatever kind of doctor understands why people do the things they do, which is a therapist essentially, right? A psychologist. And, you know, now it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could see it. Like you are that person, you know?
So I think that as a child, you probably wanted to be famous. I don't know. Like, I feel like as a child, I think that you probably didn't know what would make you famous, but you just wanted to be famous. Like, you're like, bitch, I'm finna be famous.
Yes. I mean, I knew. And it's funny because I had that conversation with a very close friend of mine today that God knew not to make me famous because he knew I would be acting the fuck up in the public sphere. And he was like, okay, she's not going to be able to handle the fame. The universe knew, okay? The universe knew that although I might want to be famous, I was not meant to be famous. But I wanted to be a marine biologist. But I wanted to be Steve Irwin, essentially. Like, Steve Irwin was my idol. Okay.
I would have never guessed that.
Listen, Animal Planet was my shit. Everybody in the house knew when Hey Isa came home and turned on Channel 40. Nobody touching Channel fucking 40. Okay.
Oh,
Hey Isa
how
watching
cute.
Animal Planet. I loved animals. One of my favorite cartoons had a name that sounded as close to mine as close was going to get. Her name was Eliza Thornberry.
Oh my
And
God, don't even play my
listen, I wanted to be I wanted to be a bush bitch. I really did. And I was
my
like, I gonna be the
gosh.
next crocodile hunter. I gonna be out here on my TV show with the animals. Like that's what I wanted.
Oh my
So
gosh.
two things happened which caused that not to happen. One, a fucking stingray took my man out of this wall, okay?
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
Irwin died, and I was devastated. That was one of the worst days of my childhood. The man died. And
I remember that too.
the second thing that happened was I told a family friend who is a grade A bitch and I wish nothing but like ill will on him. Anyway, let me stop. But he really is a grade A bitch. He told me as a child, when I told him that I wanted to be a marine biologist, he asked me, have you ever seen a marine biologist in the Virgin Islands or from the Virgin Islands? And I said no. And he was like, you need to pick something more realistic. And then he lectured me because so we used to sometimes go to his house after school, and he had kids close to the same age as me and my sister. So we would all do our homework together, and I would always struggle with math, right? I promise I this story have a ending. So I would struggle with math, and he basically lectured. He said it, the comment about the whole Virgin Islander thing, but then he also said, you know, a marine biologist is a scientist. Scientists have to be good at math. And
Oh my
he
God.
was like,
Oh.
so he basically lectured me on like, oh, you need to make sure that you get better at math. And y'all, I really struggle with math from elementary through like college, okay? I never got better at math. So I convinced myself that like, yo, if you don't get better at math, you need to give this shit up and do something else, because science ain't gonna work out, or it's gonna be really hard. And I didn't feel, listen to me, I don't fuck with challenge, okay?
No, that just, I'm sorry. That just made me so sad to
Yeah,
know how, and this
it
is
was fucked
why,
up.
ooh, them generations before us, they're so comfortable projecting their inner feelings about themselves onto children. How you gonna cut down a child like that? How you don't see that as
And
a
you know what's crazy
problem?
too is that I, as a child, obviously was not equipped with the level of sarcasm and wit and fucking intelligence that I have now, because now people know not to say crazy shit to me because I am
Wow.
known for reading a bitch. If I had my current level of intelligence back then, I would have told him, sir, and this is not fat phobic, because when fat people insult each other, it's just canceling out. It's not fat phobia. So
Yeah.
he was a large man. He also is a retired firefighter. He had always been large. So I really wanted to be like, you ain't even get it built to be a firefighter, and you out here doing it. So why the fuck I can't be a marine biologist, bitch? Please explain.
You
Explain to
know,
me
that's
like
the
I'm five.
real tea, because he knew damn well that he wasn't cut out to be no firefighter. And every
Anyway.
day, the imposter syndrome had that man scared that he was going to lose his job. And so what he do? He makes a child feel bad. What you
He
mean?
and listen, he had a record of just like saying wild shit to me and my sister growing up, because I don't know, he had this like competitive streak in his head between like his kids and my mom and dad's kids and whatever. So life turned out how it turned out. But yeah, he was the reason that I was like, okay, marine
I'm
biology ain't for
sorry.
me. But it is cool. I still love animals, you know, and maybe one day I might be on a travel show, bitch. I might be out here doing a nature doc. You never know, you
So
know?
maybe
I'm
something like that is your ministry.
Yeah,
But damn,
I
that
might
just
find
is so
another way.
sad. I resent that I hate these motherfuckers. Okay. Now you
Well,
ask me a question. Oh,
yeah,
I'm
I
mad
gotta
as
pick
hell.
one. What was your first impression of me?
I have to think, because essentially when we first met, this was like high school slash college. Um, I'm trying to remember what it was like meeting you for the first time.
That's
You
it's such a
know,
blur now because it's been so long.
so you know what's funny is my first impression of you, and believe it or not, this is like the opposite of you. I felt like you I felt like you needed like all the protection in the world. I don't know if you remember that time, me, you, Sharia, a few of us went out. This was like after the pageant that you and Sharia were in. But I remember us all going like to Sunny Isles or something. Some guy was trying to get your attention and you weren't interested. And then he started like yelling at you and calling you fat or something. And I just remember wanting to shoot him in the face. And I remember, and I know why you didn't like argue with him and everything. And it just
I
pisses
was
me
used to
off.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
know
just
you were used to it. And that's why I just was like, I just want to cover this girl. Like, I just remember being so mad because this is what women deal with all the time. But I know that this is what quote plus size women deal with
oh
is
yeah.
men giving them attention and thinking that they're somehow not used to getting attention. And so they should be so grateful for said attention.
And then
And
when
then
we
when they
don't
don't,
respond with gratitude, it's oh you fat, like
you
reminding you, oh you
fat.
fat. And I'm like, 2 minutes ago you wanted my fat ass, so I get okay.
Yeah. And then I just
Yeah.
remember you not even giving him, and I just remember, and then because
Yeah.
you're what, like a year or two younger than me. So essentially you were still in high school at the time, right? I just remember thinking like, this is a child. She shouldn't have, because I was already in college, you know? And I just remember thinking like, this is a child. And granted, I also dealt with the same thing in high school of grown men hitting on me, right? And that shit is normalized in our community. Why? I have no idea. Y'all are fucking weirdos. But I just remember that was my first impression of you, because your face was so innocent. I just remember being like, this baby needs some fucking protection. Like, what the fuck?
You know what's funny is that around the time I win that pageant was like when my innocence was like going out the window. Because after that, I started whiling as a teenager. Yeah, I mean, I'm not whiling like doing toxic shit, but like that was when I really was like, okay, I've done my quote unquote last pageant. At the time, I thought it was my last pageant. So I was like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Who cares?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that treatment from men was very common in my teenage years, and just whenever I go home especially, and unfortunately,
It's so toxic.
yeah, it's very much like, oh, we don't fuck with fat women here. So if I show you attention,
You're
owe
supposed to
me.
fall to your
Yeah.
knees and thank me for the. You know what's funny is dark-skinned women experience that same thing with men.
Yeah, and that's why I feel
Dark-skinned
such
women.
like a camaraderie with dark skinned women as a fat
Yeah.
woman, because it's like I know what it's like to all of a sudden now it's a trend to like us and to find us
Yeah,
attractive.
y'all was in a closet hiding and pretending you're like y'all don't like big women, but now all of a sudden everybody likes BB. Like y'all are
Yeah.
weird. Go away.
Yeah, and when I say camaraderie, I just mean like empathy, not that I
I know
fully
what you mean.
understand.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. To be essentially not considered to meet certain standards
Yeah,
of beauty. And then people show you attention and claim to want you, but then when you don't reciprocate that, all of a sudden, fuck you, because you should be grateful that I even give you attention.
Right.
I don't even fuck with darkies anyway. I don't even fuck with fat bitches anyway. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad you wanted to protect me, teacher.
I did. I didn't like that. And it's so funny, 'cause I vividly remember your face. And I just remember how you just wanted the situation to diffuse. And I just remember being so hot. And the thing that stopped me from just going off on him is because I knew that he was somebody who was mentally unwell. And I knew that it could get violent and it could get like worse.
Yep.
And I just was like, I hate that this is so normal in our community. I hate that this is just, it was just so many layers to it. Like, I hate that the mentally unwell are not getting the services and the care that they need. I hate that men have been so free to mistreat us for so long. I hate, like, it was just so much at once. And I just was like, this is some fucking bullshit. Like, she got to get far away from here. Like, I just.
Yeah. I honestly, and I feel bad because I remember that night, but I can't remember like as far back as that in terms of my first impression of you.
Yeah.
What I do remember, a vivid memory, is when you posted a picture and you were pregnant with Dylan. That essentially how I found out that you were pregnant with Dylan.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so happy, right? And I was like, I barely know this girl. Like, why am I so excited that she having a baby? But I just remember being like, oh my God, she having a baby. And you know me. I don't fuck with kids. Like,
you don't.
When people say, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, the pregnancy doesn't bring me joy. I just remember feeling so like happy for you and being like, oh, I hope she's okay. And then like, I remember when Dylan was born and being like, oh, she had the baby. And like, we weren't, it's not to say we were like enemies or we didn't know each other, but we weren't
close.
Friends.
Yeah.
We weren't friends
just so
at the time.
Yeah.
So for me to feel like, I remember feeling such a like stake in like you and Diamond's lives and like just wanting the absolute best for you and just feeling like joy whenever I would see Ayo thriving. And I think eventually when the three of us did become close, it was like, oh, this was meant
it was meant to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just remember that initial impression of like just knowing you were a good person and just wanting like the fucking best for you. Just being like, oh my God, I hope the baby okay. And like, and I don't act like that. Like,
Dylan
I'm not that way about babies.
Listen, I know a lot of parents say this, but I know this without a shadow of a doubt. Like, Dylan is the best thing that happened to me. Like, Dylan is the best thing that happened in my life. Like, sometimes I just sit and wonder what my life would look like if I wasn't his mother. Like, what would I be doing? Where would I be if I didn't have that particular human? Like, I thank God for that child every day.
And maybe that's what I knew without knowing. Because, and listen, y'all are listening because I whatever the fuck you want to say. I be knowing shit, okay?
You be knowing. You know you got that knowing, girl. You know you got that knowing, honey.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but I always get a feeling about something, and that feeling turns out to be right. And it would be about some long-term shit, and Deidre is the example of that. Like, I just knew that this was something to be like really joyful about. And witnessing you become a mom, and like what you just said, right? Like Dylan ended up being the best thing that happened to you, and it's like somehow I knew that, right? And I was just like, oh my god, because like I say, well, weird, because anybody else used to get pregnant. Even when my sister got pregnant with my niece, I was like,
Girl,
what?
a baby for
Why?
what?
I was like, what the fuck? But, and mind you, my niece is now officially like one of the best
Isn't
things
she
that
like
ever
your
happened to me in my
favorite
life.
person in the world,
Yes,
basically?
listen. That's my ride or die. Okay, my
Yeah,
niece
like you
is.
and that, you don't play about a little girl.
That's my twin fucking flame. Okay, but either way, when I found out her mom was pregnant, I was just like, ew, like.
You had
Cause
the sex.
yeah, she was my older sister. I was like, yuck, man. Like, what the fuck? But with you, it was like I just remember feeling just
Oh,
joy.
wow. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I love that. Okay, let
Another
me see what's the
question.
next. I haven't even like chosen another question. Oh, I like this one. What do you think I'm most likely to splurge on?
Yourself. Not yourself, but things that make your home happy so that you feel like comfortable in your home. Like you will splurge on like having, you know, the nicest smells in the house. Like we were just talking about fucking kitchen equipment, I think, before
Yeah.
we started recording. Like
Yeah.
you want to make sure that your home is like what you want it to be, because that's what you're a homemaker. Like you that.
Facts.
So
Facts.
I don't ever see you splurging on like, not that I know of, but like clothing for yourself, or like the newest makeup, or like
No,
travel, or but
no, it's
everything
funny.
I see you buy
Travel,
is like, oh, I just buy this new like vacuum. I'd be like,
yeah.
you don't give a fuck.
What the fuck? First of all, facts. No, travel I would splurge on, absolutely. But with the travel, it's the same thing. Wherever I'm laying my head needs to be comfortable and luxurious. But yeah, you're 100% correct. One thing I'm a splurge on. I spent $100 on a candle,
A candle?
and I didn't even. And I to this day I don't regret it. It was a huge candle. It was gorgeous. It smelled so good, and it just was like, I like this candle. It smells good. I like nice things. I have the money. I'm buying this candle. And I didn't even bat an eye. I like buying nice things for my home. I don't care. I'm just like, this is where I'm spending majority of my time. Why not make it comfortable? And I'm sure I love buying nice things for the home. Like my niece and Daima were making fun of me because they were like, if it's anything your ass gonna have, it's some fancy appliance. I just bought an air fryer, and it's the Ninja one with the 2 drawers. I like nice things for the home. And like
And
even
I
like
don't
makeup
blame
and
you,
stuff.
because like those things last, you know, and like
Yeah, and I
your
just like
home
my
is like,
comfort. I love
yeah.
my creature comforts. My home is my sanctuary. I recently learned about myself in the last like the last maybe 2 or 3 years. I didn't know this about myself, that I'm actually an introvert. I'm just very sociable. So people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. Very comfortable at home. As long as the environment has everything I need, I'm fine here. I was just telling my best friend on the phone,
Don't tell the TikTok bitches though, because they dragging me for like in my house right now. As we
fuck
speak.
them. I don't
As
know
we
why,
speak, they
but I'm
fucking
just
dragging
like,
me. They're
do
just
I
like,
like
move out of the country. The rest of the world don't live like this, bitch. I'm just like, well, bitch, guess what? I do.
I do. Like, I like my home. Do I like to socialize? Absolutely. I love hosting people. I like putting together pretty brunches and all that shit. Y'all should have been here on Easter. It was beautiful and lavish. It was
Oh
gorgeous,
yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know,
I saw
but
it with the little devil eggs piping. I was like, okay, Tidra, you
yes, you
go,
know, I'm gonna do
Tidra.
that shit. You know, I'm gonna go off. But I like even Dylan is a total introvert. Dylan today, he didn't want to come to the art festival with me. Like, he just doesn't want to do stuff outside of the house. I have to drag him out the house. So yeah, this is our sanctuary, and I'm gonna make it comfortable as fuck. And I don't skimp on the home. I don't.
Yeah,
I really don't.
for sure.
I think that funny enough, like experiences. I feel like you have not a problem splurging on like cool experiences, whether it's a trip somewhere, some cool excursion in your town. Like I feel like experiences is something you would splurge on.
Yeah. So one thing that I don't second guess when it comes to spending is buying a plane ticket.
See?
Like, I will stand in Target staring at something that's $17 and being like, Jay, do you really need this? I will
Oh,
debate it for the longest while. But if you say, my sister, and you notice, my sister called me the other day and was like, hey, can you come to Orlando for a couple of days and help me
and you
out with.
definitely went.
I was like, how we doing this? Like, ticket was bought within 24 hours because
I
I was
love
like,
it.
bitch, I will not hesitate to get on a plane right now.
I love that.
I think the other thing in that category though is clothes. I I
Really?
people don't realize like I am a fashionista as bit. I
You are,
really
because you
am.
stay with some new clothes on a haul. You know what's funny?
Hmm.
I love getting new clothes. But my problem is I was telling my best friend on the phone, I realized I'm not a fashion girl. I'm
Mm.
not as fashionable as people are seeing. Like I
Yes,
like
I wouldn't consider myself stylish,
mhm.
right? Because I hesitate to be like, oh yeah, I have some kind of lease on fashion and I'm so fashionable. But I do love dressing myself. I love
Yeah.
looking nice.
Yeah.
The hard place that I hit with that is that as a fat woman, it's not easy to navigate fashion spaces because I
Because
hate it.
they just be
I
giving y'all curtains and it's
I
rude.
hate in-store shopping. I cannot fucking stand. You will never see me in store, but I will go
Mhm.
online and order some shit and tailor the fuck to fit my body, like
Yeah. I love that.
clothes.
Yeah, I'm not I know that I like to look good.
Mm.
So that's I'm always look good. But being like, like Diamond is fashionable as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Diamond be in these streets putting shit together and looking. I'm like, how do you do
Hmm.
that? I don't know how to do that. Oh, that's cute. I'll take it. That's really cute. I'll take that.
Hmm.
But I'll be missing something. I always be missing
Yeah.
something. And I'm okay
Right
with
now,
that.
I'm working on my little staples. I'm trying to get closet staples that I can keep recycling. So like
Ooh.
your black blazer, your beige pants, or whatever. I'm trying to
That's where I got you.
get all
I'm good
that
at that.
stuff.
I'm good at that. I have staples that I can switch out and I just like to accessorize with really cute stuff. But my
Hmm.
style is very like easy, very kind of basic, just
Hmm.
accessorize it real cute.
Ooh.
Hmm.
What questions are you trying to answer most in your life right now?
How am I going to continue to be the best version of myself? I think that's the only question I can answer, to be honest. I can't keep asking why am I here? I chose to be here. That's just what my belief, right? I believe that our souls choose this lifetime for a reason. We have certain lessons that we want to learn, certain milestones we want to hit as spiritual beings, right? The only question I feel like I can answer is how am I going to be the best version of myself? And being the best version of yourself, it ain't got nothing to do with money. It ain't got nothing to do with nice things or none of that shit. It's how are you going to keep your intentions in check? How are you doing your part to be a decent human being? How are you respecting yourself and respecting others? What's your contribution to how are you going to do your part to leave the world better than you found it?
I think for me, the question that I am trying to answer most in my life right now is this enough?
Mm,
And if it's not, what do I need to do to get my enough? Like
mm,
is my job enough for me? Is it really
mm,
fulfilling me? Is living in Arizona enough for me? Is this fulfilling me?
mm,
I think I'm content and I think I've been content for a long time, but I've never been the type of person who's satisfied with contentment.
mm,
So it's kind of scaring me that I'm content and that I'm not searching for something bigger. Like I'm not
mm,
working towards a bigger goal actively right now. So it's just like,
mm,
what's next? What is the next goal right now? Trying to figure out
mm.
what that is. And I think I've been trying to figure that out for a while.
I
And
feel like a good
yeah.
goal would be to figure out why you're always looking for a new goal.
Probably. I will gonna say that let that be the lesson to anybody who's listening, especially those of you who listened to last week's episode on turning 30, right? I spent my 20s achieving all those goals that I thought were going to be it, right? That were going to
Mm-hmm.
fulfill me. Now that I've got them, I have this huge question in my mind of what's next when really and truly I probably don't even need to go find something else. I just need to
Yeah.
be okay with my life as it is right now. And I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time adjusting to that. So just, pondering the meaning
Damn.
of life and shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right, honey.
Yep.
Let me move
Right.
on to.
Damn,
Oh,
level two.
are you lying to yourself about anything?
Bitch.
Well, fuck me with a cactus. The fuck?
I don't know that I'm lying to myself, but I think I'm trying to convince myself that I'm happier working where I work right now than I actually am. because I just got that promotion. And I
Mm.
don't want to be seen as ungrateful or
Hmm.
impulsive by
Yeah.
leaving
By
or
being like, deuces, bitch, I
yeah,
don't like this shit.
because a part of it is adulting. Like
Yeah.
I
Making those
have to,
sacrifices.
yeah, I have so much more stability than a lot of people in the world have right now. I have a great salary, I have great benefits. I'm comfortable in my house right now. Shit, I buy this shelf and guess what? I fuck didn't hurt me at all. But shit like that.
And
But
that's a nice way to be. That's a nice life to be living.
it's a great way to be, but it's like, are you really happy at work when you come here every
Mm.
day? Like, is this aligning with your values? Is it just shit
Mm.
like that? And I'd be like, I'm great. I love my job. And then I'd come home and be like,
Yeah. Fuck it. I hate it here. Yeah, I get
yeah.
that. I get that. So I'm not, I won't say that I'm lying about it now, but I came to realize in recent weeks that I was lying to myself about something. And that was the desire to be alone. I do not want to be alone. I want a man. I the thing is I'm indifferent about it because I'm just like, I know the type of man I want and the type of partnership I want for myself. And the reality is I would rather be alone than not have what I want. So, you know how most people will take anything just to say they have a partner? I'm not that girl, will never be that girl. So for me, I know like I want a fucking man. I want a man that's big and tall, okay, with a deep voice, okay, who's wise and funny and friendly and giving and caring and nurturing. I want a man that meets specific criteria, and not even just like physically, just like overall, right? But I'm not gonna just be with any man just to say again, man, because I don't like them enough to do that. I barely like them. I resent the fact that I'm even attracted to them penis holders. I genuinely resent that shit. Like, I'm like, why I couldn't be attracted to women? Maybe so yeah, I realized that I was lying to myself about the fact, like, I don't want to be single for like, no, I don't. But I also
This,
don't want to put up with no fuck shit.
this is so much progress.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the last 3 episodes from now, Deidre,
I,
no, and I
I was
really wanted to point that out to you because I've been editing, right? And in every episode,
I was
you
a
went
bitter
off.
Betty.
You went off on just men as a collective, right? And Andre has been trying. Shout out to Andre. I know you listen to this fucking episode, Andre. He's been trying his best to just defend the man them and be like, Deidre, we're not all
We're
like
not
this.
the thing. I know that not all men are like that, but
He knows too.
I,
He know.
but the reality is I'm not the only woman having these experiences, and I'm not the
No,
only
yeah,
woman that's vocal about it. So fuck it. It's all of y'all until y'all do better.
and I honestly think as Black women right now, the dating world is incredibly scary to navigate, not just because we're hearing a lot of bullshit online, but just because we're starting to see outwardly just how dangerous it is
Yes.
to openly date cis hetero men as a
Yeah.
Black woman. Like, it's scary.
Yeah. And you know the irony? It's always been that scary. It's just being televised. We've
It's
always been
being
going through.
televised, and we're more empowered now to acknowledge that, okay, maybe I don't want to deal with that shit just to
Precisely.
be in a partnership.
And that's my thing, because I feel like a lot of the women who raised us would rather have a man and put up with whatever bullshit than to be alone. And for me, I'm like, yo, I really actually like my own company. It's lit over here. I really enjoy my own company. I like silence. I love silence. Like, I know what I like, but I also I'm like, I would really like some companionship,
That's
like,
that's human.
yeah. So,
And I hope you find it. And I hope that what that whole list you just gave on the mic, I hope that was a manifestation, like how Viola Davis
I
tell
know. Well,
Oprah.
that's a small
She,
portion of my list. Cause
she
remember when
lists her man and tell God, I would go church if you send me this
first of
man.
all, can we talk about that? How, like, I always had this, like, I've always been very endeared to Viola Davis. But after that interview with Oprah Winfrey, I am like, this lady is a goddess. But in any case, I have been like more like, you know what, honest with myself about the fact that I do want a partnership. I know the kind of partnership I want, and I need to be comfortable saying that I want a partnership. So it's just been added to my list of desires for myself is all. So there's that.
I don't know which one I want to ask. Oh, has a stranger ever changed your life?
Has a stranger ever changed my life? Yes, let me tell you. And it's so funny that you brought that up because that lady crossed my mind today. I remember this was a couple years ago. I was driving my truck and one of my axles broke. And first of all, to this day, I think because it was me and Dylan in the truck, and I thank God every day that it was in a parking lot at the grocery store and not like on a highway or some shit. So I was like backing up
That's
my car.
scary.
That was so scary. Mind you, and this was the thing, because at the time I still identified as atheist at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was backing up. Me and Dylan had such a good day. The weather was nice. It was so productive. We had such a good day. And literally, and he was still 3 at the time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We were reflecting on how good the day was. Like we were in the parking lot pulling out to go home from the grocery store. And I said, Dylan, didn't we have such a good day? He's like, yeah, I had so much fun. And we were reflecting on the day. And then I hear this weird like crash. And I was like, what the? And then the truck started kind of like leaning. And I was like, what the fuck? I come out. I thought I hit somebody. I was terrified. Turns out my axle broke. So I called the guy that I was dating at the time. And that's one thing. That man taught me what I want in a partner because that man would drop anything for me. I was like, Papa, like something's going on with my truck. And he was like, I'm coming. He just dropped everything and he came. But I remember this lady was coming out of the grocery store and she saw me and she came over to me. She's like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, like I'm not hurt or anything, but something's going on with my truck and I don't know what. And she said, I wish there was something I could do, but for right now, are you okay with me praying for you? And I was like, sure. Because for me, even though at the time I identified as atheist, I still, at the end of the day, I value people's intention, right? And I love that she asked if it was okay to pray for me instead of just assuming that she could pray for me. She said, do you mind if I pray for you? And I just thought it was so sweet. And something about her energy, I felt very safe and comfortable with her. And I was like, that would be really nice. And she held my hand and she prayed for me and Dylan. And to this, she just crosses my mind randomly. And she was part of what made me start believing in God again. But I just remember I just remember being so grateful. And she kind of just disappeared. And now I know that was like somebody that my ancestors sent, like to comfort me in that time. And it turned out to be fine. We towed the truck to the mechanic and he was like, oh, this is just a broken axle. I could fix this in like a day. Mm-hmm. It turned out fine. It was a pretty penny, but it was fine. And also the reason why I say she changed my life is, for one, my faith in God was starting to become restored. It wasn't fully restored yet, but it just mattered to me that, like, you know what? There are still good people who believe in God. But the thing that really contributed to changing my life was it was that night that I realized that my job didn't give a fuck about me. Because the job I was working on my corporate job, and I was supposed, like the team I was on, we were supposed to always bring our laptop home so that we could work from home in case any emergencies, right? And I remember that was the one weekend I chose not to bring my laptop home. The one, because I would always bring my laptop home and I didn't need it.
Yeah.
And it was, of course,
and it was like, everything's going to be fine. Why would I?
Yeah. And then this happens, right? So I texted my assistant team leader because the team leader was on vacation. And I said, hey, such and such, I just wanted to give you a heads up that there's a chance I might have to call out tomorrow because the front axle on my truck just broke. And I might not have a ride. And I didn't bring my laptop home this weekend. And I said, I might be trying to go to the office overnight to go get my laptop. But if I don't get it, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I might not be able to work tomorrow. I promise you, I'm not exaggerating. Her response, never once did she ask if me and Dylan was okay. Nothing. This is why we tell you guys that it's important to take your laptop home every day. Please let me know if you're able to pick up your laptop. That was her response to me telling her that the axle on my truck had broken while I was driving my vehicle.
I'd have been like, you know what, bitch, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
When I tell you that fuck sent me, I was depressed for like 2 days behind that. So I was able to get my hands on my laptop and I still ended up taking the rest of the day. Like I logged on for work and I was just
I'd log on, send an email and be like, fuck you.
Yeah, I was so sad because I'm like, y'all don't care about our lives. Like, and I'm like, I don't know if she just doesn't know what that means, that somebody's axle broke or what, but y'all just don't care about the lives of the people who are keeping this company going. That fucker made me sad, but that's what made me start to realize that I can't walk there for much longer. So yeah. What about you?
So for me, it was one of the paramedics who was helping us, or me specifically, after that like major accident that I was in,
Mm.
I was freaking the fuck out, right?
Oh
Because I
God.
don't, for those of you who've been in accidents, you know that when they put you in an ambulance, I don't know if this happened to anybody else actually, but what ran through my mind was I was just in a car that flipped and I about to put me in another car that's about to go
Mm.
really fast and it's also going to crash, right? And I was panicking.
Oh
They were
God.
trying to get a reading on my heart rate and I was panicking so much that he was like, we cannot get an accurate reading of like, you know, how you're doing. We need you to just try to relax. So his name was Bubba.
He would be named Bubba.
I was in middle of fucking nowhere, Georgia, and Bubba was like, "You're gonna be fine." He was like, "Hey, you got out of the car, everything." And he said, "Listen, no matter what we find out at the hospital, you got out of the car. You're breathing. You're fine." And he's basically listing all of the things that is going on with me that tells him that I'm relatively okay, right?
Yeah.
To like reassure me. And he starts telling me like, you're gonna have a very long life, you're gonna get
Oh
to go
wow.
do cool things. And he basically like told me, you know, you this is not it for you, like the fact
Yeah.
that you walk out of that car, like you're fine, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, so where are you from? He started asking me questions, and in between me just like hyperventilating, I told him I'm from St. Croix. He said I had a girlfriend from St. Croix. He was like, she could cook. He was like, she was angry as fuck though, like. But I remember that conversation, right? Because in him talking to me, I didn't even remember the ride to the hospital. I just
Oh
remember
wow.
talking to him.
Mm.
And when we reached the hospital, instead of, you know how the paramedics they just kind of hand you off to the medical team, whatever, he came
Mm-hmm.
in the emergency room, made sure I was good, was like, okay, I wish you the best, you know, you guys be safe on your trip back, whatever, whatever. And I never forgot him, but I mostly never forgot the fact that he was like, you are going to have a long life.
Mm.
So years later, and I posted this on TikTok once, but I ended up removing it. Years later, I got curious about this guy. So I started, I am a master bitch at Googling, right? You
Oh
want to find out if
wow.
your man playing you or if he living a double life, I could find out for you.
Well, there's a
So,
customer I have a crush on, so we'll start looking.
so I Googled Bubba and I Googled where he was from and I Googled the fire because I knew there were fire rescue
Yeah.
literally to find him, and I found his obituary. And he had passed of cancer, I think, within a year of the time that he responded to my
Oh
accident, right?
no.
When I
Oh,
tell you,
that fuck would have fucked me up. That would have fucked me up.
listen, I balled on the fucking
Oh
place like somebody had killed my father, okay?
no, that would have
Um,
fucked me up.
I
Oh,
was
that would have fucked me up.
devastated, okay? But I just remember, even though I didn't know this person, I had no connection to him. I never spoke to him since the day of the accident, since that ambulance ride. Literally never talked to him again. But
Wow.
now I almost feel like because he said that I would have a long life, like I kind of owe it to he to
Yeah, to
like
have a long
to
life
have a long
and to
life.
live your life, not to just be
Exactly,
alive, but to
exactly.
live your life. Like,
So yeah, so when people will be like, "Oh, I love that you don't just anything you're interested in, you to go for it, like you to try to do it and you to try to do all these cool things." Like that accident was in 2015. Think about all the shit I've done
mm,
between 2015 and now. A lot of that was because of that one thing that man said to me, who I never saw
wow.
again, who is no longer on this earth. He died of cancer. So meaning he had cancer
When
probably
yeah,
at that time, knowing that he probably wasn't going to
yeah.
live long, and he was sitting there talking to a girl he didn't even know, telling me that I was going to have a long life.
My gosh.
So
You better
Bubba,
have a
wherever
long
you are,
life.
thank you, and
Thank
I
you,
hope
Bubba.
you know that I've had a great life since then,
Oh,
and shout out to you. So
wow. My
yeah,
goodness. Oof.
I know, right? I was like,
Oh,
okay, tell the story, but don't cry here. It's like,
I'm proud of you for not crying. I would have been crying my little eyes out.
listen,
Oh my
but no, yeah,
gosh. Wow,
that
that was good.
he definitely changed my life. Let's go. We have a few minutes left in the episode, so let's go to level 3.
Okay.
Level 3 is a whole other shebang of just like deep questions.
Do we need to take a
So
sip first?
shit, I pour wine and then I taste it and I was like, this fuck don't taste right. Um,
I'm dead.
okay. Ooh.
Mm.
Based on what you've learned about me, does my
Mhm.
social media portray me accurately?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, yes. You know why? Because your social media is beautiful, just like you.
Aw.
But you're also very loud on there, just like you are in real life. And like,
I like
if
to
you
make fuck.
if you feel like saying it, you're gonna say it. And yes, your social media absolutely portrays you. What
Yeah.
about me?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like your social media is so you. Like it's so Deidre. Like
It's
it's
just
it's the work that you love doing. It's you fucking around with Gypsy and Nuri. It's home decor. Like it's very much you.
it's so
So
me. It's so
if I
me.
ever talk to people about you and I'm like, oh yeah, like I get my readings done by Deidre or this is my co-host, like, and I send them your profile, I know that I'm giving them like Deidre. Like that is exactly who she is. Everything you're gonna see on her profile is her. Like,
You know the irony about my profile? It's the thing that I feel is a lot like me on my profile is like my lack of consistency, right? And when I say that, I mean like I'll go, like I'll be on there active as fuck, and then I'll just go ghost. Like,
or you'll be on there active as fuck and I get a text message in your inbox that been waiting 3 days and I'll be like, Deidre, you don't see me? So you don't see me.
what do I need to hear right now?
You are doing enough. You're doing more than enough. Like, like you are busting your ass, Deidre, and you are making time for your son, and you are making time to do things that bring you joy, and you doing a good ass job at work. Like you're doing enough, and you don't need to do any more than that. You're doing a great job. Our patrons right now, like these bitches ain't cry yet for real. But you are.
I was doing so good. Oh my God. I really don't be feeling like I need to be doing more. I need to do some rearranging. I need to,
You're
and
doing
that's
enough.
the thing, I don't even talk about that though. Like, I don't even talk about like I just my niece is always telling me the same thing. Like I'm just always like wanting to do more, wanting to do better. That's the thing. I never think that I'm not doing enough. I feel like what I'm doing is not enough, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The
But
other
it
day,
is.
this was, let me tell you, I was laying in bed and something just kind of came over me. I don't know if it was I think I had read something on social media and I just was like, oh, I should be working harder. I should be doing more for the community. I should be doing, literally within 5 minutes, I get a random message from a client who was like, I just want to let you know how much you've helped me. And she literally gave me like all these exciting things that was going on. And she's like, all of this is happening. This is stuff you told me would happen. This is stuff that I like prepared myself for and it's happening. And I just want to thank you. And I was like, crying my eyes out, of course, because I'm a big baby. But I went straight to sleep. I was like, thank you very much. Because I knew that was like the universe telling me, like, the work you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Like, you're not. So thank you for that. Because even
You're so
like,
welcome.
I'm just so like, even like, I'll be honest, like, moment of transparency, I've been feeling so guilty because I haven't had a chance to post anything regarding this new moon in Taurus on my Patreon. And I feel terrible for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was hella drained. And I'm like,
Girl, like you are balancing so much, and that's why I say it because I think sometimes like you'll text me and you'll be like, hey, can we do this later, or can we change to another day, and I'll be like, of course. Like I don't ever mind because I know how much you're balancing, and I know that like you're consciously trying to be present for Dylan, like you're trying to do a good job at
yeah.
work, you're trying to do all of these other things, and it's like, of course, yeah, the podcast is a priority, but it's like you're doing like you're balancing all of this like really, really, really well because I would have been like, can we just skip season 7? I legit probably could not do it.
Oh God, that's
Probably could not do
thank you
it.
for that. That was
You're
really
welcome.
my gosh, that
You're
was
welcome.
nice. You know what you need to hear right now? That
Scared for you to tell me.
all the things that you think make you strange and different are all the things that we love about you.
Oh,
There's nothing strange about you. You're the shit. And those
thank
unique
you.
things about you are what make you so cool and why we're even close in the first place. Because I don't want to be friends with a regular ass bitch. Like, the fuck?
Do you just say you bitches is regular?
Y'all are regular. We can't be friends if you regular. I'm kidding. But
I
no.
appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
Like, you're
I
so
I
dope.
I also
Even
needed to hear that. Cause the other day I was like, dude, I feel like nobody like me. I would just having a day and I was like, I feel annoying. Like I feel so like irritating to people. And
oh,
I posted on Twitter and I was like, sometimes I would basically like, I can't help but feel like I don't annoy people. And Rena, I don't know if you know Rena. Rena was like, well, fuck them people.
exactly. Literally fuck them people.
But you know,
Literally fuck them people. Like, girl, get the fuck. No. No.
those thoughts come up, you know? Did I pick the last one or did you pick the
I
last
picked the last one.
one? Okay. Shit, this is a lot of pressure. Damn. Why do you think we met?
You know I'm about to give a woo-woo witchy ass answer. You
Did
know
say,
that.
let me pull out my cards, bitch.
Let me give I
Let
don't
me
even need my cards for this one. Because we're on the same soul mission, okay? It's to protect and heal not only the collective, but specifically Black women. Like, we met because, for one, we're from the same soul tribe. Like, I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. Like, we go back lifetimes, okay? And we met because we agreed to be here together at the same time and do all the same shit together and ascend so that our next lifetimes could be just as dope as this one.
Jam done. Everybody go home. I agree with everything that was just said. I obviously do, because there's no fucking disagreeing with that. But I think that we met because I needed to learn what it was like to have a loving, healthy relationship with sisters in
Yes.
order not only to expand, you know, my circle of people that
Mhm.
I am loved by and that I love back, but also to heal my relationships with my own sisters.
Ooh.
Not that they were
Yeah.
like broken or super negative, but I've talked about it on the podcast before. We weren't as close, I think,
Mm.
before I developed my friendship with you
Mm.
as we are now, because
Yeah.
y'all have taught me how to love my sisters,
Oh,
like in a
wow.
very intentional, like
Oh.
imperfect. I still will be
Yeah,
wilding,
nothing's
but you know.
perfect. Yeah.
So I think I was definitely, we were meant to have this friendship for me to learn like how to be more loving and open and
Oh,
affectionate, not just towards my
wow.
sisters, but all of my female friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even shit as simple like Ayo hanging up the phone and saying, okay, love you. I used to be like, okay, okay, cool, bye. I used to be
We're
like,
very so affectionate with each other. Like,
yeah. But
so affectionate with each
I
other.
see how that has changed. Just
Mhm.
that simple relationship has changed my relationships with other people, because I'm like,
Wow.
okay, maybe I should be telling my friends that like I love them. Maybe I should be,
Yeah.
you know, being, and
Yeah.
I still have work to do, because when I played this game, like I said, with my best friend and my husband, both of them said, I wish you were more outwardly affectionate. I'm like, I've made so much progress.
I feel you've made a lot of progress because I feel very loved by you. So,
Yeah, but I think too the distance kind of, because sometimes I see
oh
people in
yeah.
person and they're like, you're very different in person. I'm like, cause that shit awkward, man. Just give me time.
Oh, look who
But
calling me. I know it's Diamond.
tell them, and I said we recording. No man.
I'm gonna tell him.
Um, but yeah, no, even this podcast, Deidre, like, I think we were meant to meet to create this, to
I
do this
agree.
work, because not only are we helping people in some sort of way, and I don't say that shit lightly, like people will message us talking about the ways that this
Yeah, it's
podcast has
true. It's
helped them,
very
and that shit,
impactful.
it's
It's way
amazing
more
to
impactful
me.
than I ever thought it was gonna be.
Exactly. Like that was never the intention. Like people, there is at least one person I could name that prior to this podcast did not have a good relationship with their mom,
Oh
who after
wow.
listening to the first episode has now had like a breakthrough with their mom and is more openly
Mm.
speaking to them about that. Like
Oh wow, I love that.
the work we've done since then, like
Mm.
that wasn't our
Yeah.
only great episode, you know?
Oh
So
no, like the therapy episode, I already have a part two in mind that we're gonna talk about
listen,
off air.
like we've done such good walk, and it's like, where the fuck would we, like, where would I be if
I
we had
really
not
find
started
myself
Good
wondering
Up?
that where would we be without this show? Because this show has done a lot in my life
And
for
yeah, for me personally, like
yeah,
healing wise, you're right. So
yeah.
this was
Damn.
a good game.
This was fun.
Yeah. It was a
Oh,
really good game. I see why people
I'm
are buy
glad.
this shit, because it does
Yeah,
help you like kind
I
of get
like
through some
it.
of the other layers, you know?
It does. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Truth time. I was nervous because I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm not gonna answer anything right about Hey Isa, and I'm a terrible friend. Like I legit thought, but then like it's true, we're really not strangers. Like,
We're not.
wow, I love
Yeah.
this. Oh
But
my
also
gosh.
not even just about getting it right or wrong. I think it's exciting to get to know your friends more, even when you think you
Yeah,
know everything there is to know. Like
yeah.
there's always something else that you could learn from somebody,
Facts.
you know? So
Big facts.
well, audience, if you're listening, I hope you enjoyed me and Deidre playing this game. I hope you had some interest in, time to get to know us. The game again is called We're Not Really Strangers. And it's available in a regular version, and there's also a Red Table Talk version, which I really want to get on one because I've heard that the questions on that one are even better.
Oof.
So yeah, if you're interested in playing this with your friends, your family, your partners, go ahead and do that. This is not a sponsored episode, bitch. We don't get paid for this, but I
Yeah,
really
we're
like the
not
game.
getting
So
paid. But you know what? We've been paid in so many
yeah,
ways.
you know how
In
you
our
can sponsor this podcast.
You can join the VIP section and see my you can see my feminine life coach starter kit.
The whole aura, the whole
No,
outfit.
it's the light colors,
You
it's
could
the
see all of
corny,
it.
it's the Pinterest signs, it's the orchid, it's the
Exactly.
headband, it's the beach wave number in my hair that I'm wearing right now. It's all of it.
So if you want to see Deidre and all her goodness, go over to patreon.com/GoodUpPodcast. Become one of our patrons. We like to call it the Good Up VIP section. We have a private Facebook group. We add you to our close friends on Instagram. You get to see the full video footage of every single episode, and you get episodes earlier than everyone else. So make sure you join us. Keep the lights on in this bitch. And then if you ain't quite ready yet, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. You could still tag us on social media at Good Up Pod on every single platform. Make sure if you enjoyed even 30 seconds of this podcast and you want to talk about it, just leave a review, man. Take the extra
Please.
time.
Please,
You know,
we don't ask y'all for nothing. We don't ask y'all for nothing.
I don't ask them for a lot. Yep. And again, shout out to our patrons. We are now up to 34 patrons.
Wow,
Okay.
that's
A lot
amazing.
of them, exactly. A lot of them have come during season 7, which means we're doing something right. And I appreciate y'all
What
for
a
all the love.
blessing.
And we have even more good shit coming. I can't share it with you yet because I'm still working on it. Deidre knows what it is.
I know
But
what it
it's gonna
is,
be so cool.
honey.
I'm so excited.
We actually have a lot in the works that's coming for the podcast and even just individually. Like, it's so exciting. It's
Yep.
so exciting.
Everything
I'm
will
so
be fucking
excited.
lit.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, we will see you guys next week. If you have any questions about this episode, go ahead and tag we. And yeah, Deidre, tell the people and bye.
Bye.
Good Up is hosted and produced by Deidre Ritter and Heiza Quinones Ivory and is a proud member of the Kickin' It family. Find us on all social media platforms at Good Up Pod. Use hashtag GoodUpTuesday to continue the conversation and get access to exclusive bonus content at patreon.com/GoodUpPodcast.